Hi, it's Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Services Talking Business, a special edition today of our series talking with leaders in the field of digital marketing, banking, insurance, customer service, and business education, all to highlight the great work of our team at CBSI. We're based in Harrison, New York, and we provide insurance-backed benefits to the credit card and payments industry. And I'm really pleased to have a chance to talk to one of my colleagues, Vice President of CBSI, long-standing colleague, and that is Peter Walter. Peter, how are you today?
Hi, Ken. I am well, thanks. Good to see you over the video. I think probably the next time we do this, it can be in person, which will be nice.
Absolutely. Look forward to that. Now, maybe just to start, you've been helping to manage business for our clients, banks all across the country and their customers over the past year of COVID-19. What have been some of the challenges that you've been helping banks with over the past year?
Ken, as you know, we are in the business of providing additional features and account enhancements to financial institutions primarily, but also any organization that has a large book of customers and prospects, and we add value to that product. And our benefits generally bucket down into travel-related protections and benefits and retail purchase-related protections and benefits. COVID affected the travel benefits, obviously, most significantly. When COVID first became publicly aware, let's call it, in the March timeframe of 2020, the phone lines went crazy because everybody was concerned about travel they'd already booked. Nobody wanted to travel, and we were in the role of assisting people with changing, canceling, postponing travel plans and trying to sort out what this new thing, this crazy pandemic of COVID-19, what that means to people and what they should do in terms of the travel that they had planned or travel that they want to take. And once the first few months passed by, in that time period, phone calls quieted down and nobody was thinking about travel because nobody knew what the future was going to be. On the retail side, retail purchases never really tailed off. In fact, as people were cocooning, we saw retail transactions tick up. And if anything, we got more phone calls people were concerned about, and there was a real issue with things like porch piracy. So much shopping had transitioned from in-person to online, and so we were seeing new challenges pop up, or maybe variations in the frequency of claim models, where we were seeing things like porch piracy or damaged on delivery goods becoming larger issues more than the, beyond the traditional retail claim type of claim events that we saw pre-COVID. And now what's happening is travel is back. Everybody has animal spirits and they are looking to get out. Domestic travel has come back first and road trips, but now we see air travel and primarily domestic, but now moving into international travel as coming back online, and that's where we see so much of our activity now. And probably will be, for the next year or so until the post-pandemic normal returns.
Well, it's been good to see that the airlines have been busier. Some of the airlines are just talked about needing to hire more pilots over the year to handle building up their fleet and capacity once again. We have a new product at CBSI, and great to hear that we have a product that is going to be able to help customers with travel, both domestically and internationally, find out information on the impact of COVID, what the restrictions are. And Pete, tell us a little bit about the new product opportunity that we are offering.
Here's what's different now, Ken, and this is primarily targeted to international travel. When you want to go to a foreign country, there are going to be requirements that that foreign country maintains around the insurance benefits that you've got in order to enter that country. And those benefits are typically medical insurance, evacuation insurance, the types of coverages that if you were to become ill or get COVID in that country, you would not become the financial responsibility of that country. They want you to have insurance coverage to protect the country against that risk. They want you to be self-sufficient. There are also requirements around testing for COVID, showing a negative test before you get on the airplane to enter a foreign country. And then also importantly, if you'd like to come home, you've got to show a negative PCR test in order to get on the airplane to fly home. The challenge is that we are seeing many instances where people are testing positive and they're asymptomatic. You can see a lot of examples of this with well-known people, celebrities, athletes. A couple of examples that are happening currently. Chris Paul, he's an all-star guard in the NBA. His team is in the conference finals. He's unable to play right now because he tested positive for COVID-19. He's in a forced quarantine. John Rahm just won the US Open the other day. That was nice to see. But 2 weeks ago, as I know that you know, Saturday night, he walks off the 18th green, finished the third round of the Memorial Tournament. He's got a 6-shot lead, overwhelming favorite to win the tournament the next day. They had tested him in the morning, and the results came back while he was on the golf course positive. Asymptomatic, tested positive, forced to withdraw from the tournament, lost out on a multi-million-dollar payday and obviously a very nice trophy. Good for him for the way that he came back. But there are many examples like that. A few weeks ago, there were 8 members of the Yankees organization that all tested positive, a couple of players and then coaches and other executives. They were forced to quarantine. Outside of sports, you see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Nobody looks healthier than The Rock. The Rock tested positive, no symptoms, forced to postpone a movie that he was filming, and obviously those are very expensive delays. So those are the well-known public examples of how people can test positive unexpectedly. What we see every day is members of the general public that won't be on the 11 o'clock news that are traveling, and to date it's mostly been Mexico. People are in Mexico and they need to show a negative PCR test to return to the United States. They're positive and they're forced to quarantine for 10 days. That's a real problem for people when they're international, at an international location and they can't come home. They've got a return trip that's going to be forfeited or at least changed. They've got the additional expenses of at least a 10-day forced quarantine, and they've got the expenses on the home front of the car is probably in a very expensive parking lot in an airport. Their dog might be in a kennel. You know, you can imagine all of the stress and unexpected financial consequences that can occur. So the benefit you're talking about, our COVID protection benefit, is designed really to take the stress and the uncertainty away from a customer in the event that they may, in fact, unfortunately test positive for COVID while they're out of the country.
And this service has a strong information component to it. So before traveling or contemplating traveling, customers can use the service to check what is the situation in countries they may want to visit.
That's right. There's a couple of elements to the benefit, and what you're referring to is what I call pre-trip or pre-departure services. And you're exactly right. Every country has a constantly changing list of requirements for entry, stay, and exit regarding what insurance coverages you must have and also what testing that you must undergo. And so the portal will keep customers apprised of that on an up-to-date, simple, one source location for all of that information.
Very good. Now, Peter Kraetzer, our Vice President at CBSI, This is applying, this COVID protection benefit program that we are now offering applies to groups, credit card segments, debit cards, could even be a mobile phone group. Tell us about how this benefit can be purchased for bank segments and others.
Sure. Most commonly, you'll see this with financial institution accounts, credit cards, debit cards, prepaid cards, what have you, but credit cards would be most common. And it can be offered in several different ways. It can be provided as an automatic, no cost to the customer embedded feature of the card, so that any international trip that a customer books on a card that has COVID protection, this suite of benefits will automatically be provided to that customer. It can also be provided in a hybrid model where, let's say, there's a base level of coverage provided to everybody, but customers that are taking certain types of trips to locations where, let's say, COVID is more of a concern, or they might be older or have medical conditions, personal issues that they might be more sensitive to this type of topic, they can buy expanded levels of coverage on their own. Interestingly, Ken, we are seeing this type of coverage gain traction even in non-bank scenarios. One great example is there are now a few airlines, none of the domestic airlines, but international airlines, that in an effort to get their consumers traveling again, they are embedding this type of COVID protection coverage with tickets. So if you buy a certain category of ticket on an airline that provides this benefit, you'll have this insurance at no additional cost. So that's another example of how this benefit can be applied in different consumer settings.
Well, so important to build the confidence of the traveling public to feel comfortable traveling again, to take summer trips and then fall trips this year. It helps support the cruise industry, also trying to get restarted very slowly, and a benefit like this can only help. Do you have a final thought for us today about this new product that we're offering?
Well, I just want to make sure it's clear on what the coverage is. It's pre-trip assistance, which is the portal that we talked about, and equipping consumers with all the information they need to travel intelligently. While you're at your destination, there are several levels of coverage available. If you do test positive for COVID and you're in a forced quarantine situation, the additional out-of-pocket expenses you'd have related to that quarantine are insured. There's also a medical evacuation benefit that if you need to, or in fact want to, be transported back to the United States as quickly as possible, there is an evacuation benefit as well, which is very important.
Absolutely. And so any banking organization, or perhaps even a mobile provider, or another group that would be interested in this product can contact you. We'll have information in the caption on how to reach you, and you can explain and how this can be provided to their customer group.
Sure. Any organization that has an interest in protecting their customers while they are planning and then actually traveling, international travel, at least for the next probably 9 to 12 months while we see what happens with COVID, this is going to be a very valuable benefit and certainly top of mind to anyone considering international travel.
Absolutely, and just another product we're able to offer. CBSI, 30 years providing benefits to the credit card and payments industry. Peter Alter, Vice President of CBSI, my colleague of many years. Good to see you today. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Ken. Take care.
Our pleasure. This is Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Services, our Talking Business interview series. And thanks to my guest today, Pete Alter, and I'm in my home office today in White Plains, New York. Have a great day, everybody.